Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2, the new crew, new hero, and Night City's next tragedy. Cyberpunk Edgerunners ended with a conclusion so complete that a second season sounded almost impossible. David's rise, collapse, and final act were not a cliffhanger waiting to be resolved. They were a warning about Night City. That is exactly why Edgerunners 2 can work. The new series is not trying to reverse the original ending or pretend tragedy did not happen. It has been announced as a new standalone 10-episode story about a different crew, built around redemption and revenge. New material shown in 2026 has also intensified speculation about a blonde character carrying a camera, possibly the new protagonist or the person through whose eyes Night City will be documented. There is still no confirmed release date, but the information available already tells us that Season 2 may focus less on becoming a legend and more on who controls the story after the violence is over.
The safest commercial decision would have been to force David, Lucy, or another familiar face back into the center. Creatively, that would weaken what made the first season matter. Edgerunners treated Night City as a machine that turns dreams into products and people into stories other characters consume. David's ending works because it cannot be undone. A new crew allows Studio Trigger and CD Projekt Red to explore the same city without repeating the same emotional arc. It also proves that Edgerunners is not one hero's biography. It is an anthology framework for people who believe they can beat a system designed to profit from their failure. The new cast can occupy a different social level, work for different fixers, and face a different form of exploitation while remaining recognizably part of the same world.
The most interesting new visual is the character associated with a camcorder. In Night City, recording is never neutral. Brain dances package memory and sensation. News networks turn violence into spectacle. Corporations control narratives, reputations, and evidence. A protagonist who records events could change the structure of the show. Instead of asking only whether the crew survives, the story could ask whether anyone will know what actually happened. The camera may be a weapon, a shield, an obsession, or a way to manufacture fame. It also connects directly to the official premise's question about making your story matter in a world blinded by spectacle. The original crew wanted to rise above the city. This new character may try to expose it, document it, or become famous by feeding it exactly what it wants.
The announced themes of redemption and revenge suggest a different emotional engine from David's ambition. Revenge gives the story forward momentum. Someone has been harmed, someone is blamed, and the crew believes violence can balance the account. Redemption complicates that goal. It implies at least one character has already done something they cannot accept, or has participated in the system they now want to fight. Cyberpunk stories become strongest when the personal and corporate levels overlap. The target may be an individual, but the conditions that created the damage are institutional. A clean victory is therefore unlikely. The central question becomes whether revenge can restore agency or simply give Night City another spectacular body count. Kai Ikarashi is directing the new project, with Ichigo Kano leading character design and returning collaborators supporting the production. That matters because Edgerunners had an unusually strong visual identity, aggressive color, exaggerated motion, abrupt emotional cuts, and moments of quiet that made the explosions feel more painful. Season 2 needs continuity without imitation. A new director should not be asked to recreate every choice from the first season. The better goal is to retain Trigger's energy while developing a visual language suited to the new crew. The camera motif could influence framing, aspect ratios, overlays, found footage moments, or the way action is reconstructed after the fact. The question guaranteed to dominate comments is whether David can return. The honest answer is that the new story does not need him alive. His legacy can exist through locations, drinks, rumors, archived footage, or the way other Edgerunners interpret his final stand. A brief reference could reward returning viewers without undermining the ending. Lucy is a more plausible emotional connection because she survived, but even her appearance should serve the new story rather than convert it into a continuation of the old romance. The strongest approach is to let the original characters become part of Night City's mythology, remembered imperfectly, monetized by others, and understood differently by people who were not there. The first season succeeded partly because it was deeply connected to the game's geography and technology without requiring viewers to play it. Season 2 can repeat that balance. Familiar locations, cyberware, gangs, fixers, and corporate systems provide immediate texture. Updates to Cyberpunk 2077 and the continued development of another game also mean the wider franchise is evolving. The anime can introduce concepts that later echo in games, but it should remain emotionally complete on its own. Viewers should never feel they are watching a 10-episode advertisement. The franchise connection is most valuable when it makes Night City feel persistent. One crew disappears, another takes the same elevator, and the city barely pauses. Atom Smasher worked because he represented the final form of corporate violence, a human identity almost completely replaced by hardware and ownership. Repeating him would be a mistake. The second season needs an antagonist connected to its themes of media, spectacle, revenge, and redemption. A corporation controlling information, a fixer turning deaths into content, or a charismatic figure who manufactures legends could create a more specific threat. The villain should understand the new protagonist's desire to matter and offer a version of success that is morally poisonous. In Night City, the most dangerous enemy is often the person who can make exploitation look like opportunity.
Edgerunners 2 has a difficult job. Return to a beloved world without exploiting the grief that made the first story powerful. The new crew, the camera motif, and the themes of redemption and revenge suggest the creators understand that problem. Night City does not need David to come back. It needs another person convinced that their dream will be different. That is where the tragedy and possibly the redemption begins. Should the new series avoid the old cast completely, include Lucy briefly, or build the plot around David's legacy as a distorted urban legend? Leave your answer below, label game and anime spoilers, and subscribe for the full trailer breakdown.
David entered Night City's criminal world because he had almost nothing left and believed exceptional cyberware could make him exceptional. The camera-carrying character suggests a protagonist who may begin with a different resource, the ability to shape attention. That person could be a journalist, brain dance editor, documentarian, propagandist, or simply someone obsessed with proving that their friends existed. Each possibility changes the meaning of combat. A gunfight is no longer only survival, it is footage. A betrayal is not only emotional, it can be edited, leaked, sold, or erased. This would allow Season 2 to explore a form of power the first story touched only indirectly. In a city where everyone is watched, the person controlling the recording may briefly feel powerful until they discover the platform, corporation, or audience also controls them. The original crew became convincing because the series gave them domestic moments between jobs. They ate, argued, joked, drove through the city, and created the illusion of a family strong enough to resist the environment. Season 2 needs that same patience with completely new personalities. 10 episodes provide limited time, so every group scene must establish more than plot. Who interrupts? Who watches instead of speaking? Who handles money? Who treats cyberware as identity? And who is afraid of it? Redemption and revenge only matter when the audience understands what the crew could have been without the mission consuming them. The new story should make viewers want these characters to walk away, even while knowing that Night City rewards exactly the decisions that make walking away impossible.